What's going on, guys? Hudi here with Level Up Gaming, and in this video we're going to talk about entry fragging. This is actually stemmed from a question that one of you asked me, and that question was from Soupy, and it said, you know, he's been watching the Masters tournament, but he doesn't understand why the duelists or the entry fraggers are the middle or bottom of the scoreboard and they're not top fragging. He gave an example of the match 100 Thieves versus Sentinels where Ethan, the Omen, actually dropped a 30 bomb. So in this video, we're going to talk about that. We're going to look at examples from 100 Thieves versus Sentinels. We're going to watch why the Sentinels were so successful on their entry frags. And we're going to talk about what the role of an entry fragger is and how to be successful as an entry fragger. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button if you enjoy the video. Let me know in the comments down below who your favorite entry fragger is currently in the game. Mine is Tens, with a close second being Sick. So let's start with what everyone thinks entry fragging is. Everyone thinks that an entry fragger is meant to get all of the kills. They think it's supposed to be that star player on the team that's going to dive bomb a bomb site and pick up a 2 or 3K and win the round for their team. And yes, an entry fragger can and often will win a round for your team, but not in the way that you're thinking. Sometimes you might pick up a couple nice clips. You might pick up a nice 2 or 3K here and there, but generally speaking, an entry fragger is just meant to take and gain space for his team. If an entry fragger enters onto a bomb site and he picks up a kill, that's a bonus. If he picks up 2 kills, that's an insane bonus. But if an entry fragger picks up positioning, if he gets onto a bomb site, creates a distraction, and allows his team to push behind him, and he dies, but his team picks up 1, 2, or 3 kills off the back of him gaining that position and then dying, that's a successful entry. Now that's just the entrying portion of entry fragging. There's actually a little bit more that leads up to that as well, and that's the actual act of getting to the position where you can enter onto a bomb site. For instance, if you're walking up Haven towards the A bomb site, you have to actually get to the bomb site before you can enter onto it. You have to clear short, you have to clear long, you have to gain those positions first. And so the role of the entry fragger, with help from support from his teammates, will often be to push up there and gain control of those positions first. That means isolating your 1v1s. That means clearing angles properly and effectively and using any information you can gain or you have already to get control so that you can actually push onto a bomb site. So what are the requirements to become or be an entry fragger? First of all, you have to not care about your scoreboard. A lot of the times the entry fragger, he won't be the top of the scoreboard. Sometimes he will be, but a lot of the times he won't be. And you have to be okay with that, because your role is to gain positioning on a bomb site to allow your team to push. You also have to have confidence. You have to be confident enough to push out blindly, clearing angles onto a bomb site and gaining positioning for your team. You have to be confident enough to take those 1v1s, to take those gunfights that are going to be difficult to win. You have to have decent aim and mechanics. You don't have to have the best aim in the world. Does it help that Tens is one of the best aimers in Valorant? Yeah, it does. But it's not a requirement to be a good entry fragger. You have to have an understanding of the map's positions that can be played, positions that you can push, and things that you need to watch out for. You have to have a little bit of game sense and a whole lot of communication. One of the primary components of an entry fragger is to gain information and communicate it back to his team. If you're Jet and you push onto a bomb site and you see a Killjoy turret, you see a Killjoy herself, you see that one of the entrances is smoked off, and you see a tripwire somewhere or an alarm bot, you need to call all of those things out to your team as you're pushing that bomb site, as you're taking your gunfights, because all of that information is going to be vital in your team being successful when pushing the bomb site. So what are the steps to successful entry fragging? We already talked about step 1, that's making your way to the bomb site where you're going to actually enter onto the bomb site, clearing your 1v1 angles, clearing every spot that enemies could be hiding leading up to the bomb site, and getting your team there safely and securely. Number 2 is going to be communication with your team about what your intentions are before you actually do the entering. If you blindly push and your team's not ready to follow behind you and they're not there to support you, then your entry could have been pointless or for nothing. You need to communicate that with your team before you do it. And then step 3 is actually to confidently enter that bomb site, create and gain as much space as you possibly can for your team, using your abilities, using your gun, using whatever you need to use, any information you have or any communication you can give to your team. But don't let me just say this to you. Let's actually look at some of these examples. I've been showing a couple of these in the background already, as you've already seen, but we're going to actually dissect these and look at them to understand why these entries were so successful and why they worked. So the first clip we're going to be taking a look at here is Sentinels on attack, going towards the A bomb site here on Ascent versus 100 Thieves. Round 15, you can see they're up 12-2 already, so they're pretty confident at this point, but they do everything correctly here. You can see that their two entries, their two duelists, are going to be Phoenix and Jet. I want you guys to watch closely how they play this situation. So you can see that Sick is going in here and he flashes his way in. This clears off the angle for the person that may have been holding from Wine or from peeking from the entry here. He gets rid of the turret as fast as he possibly can, and he does not care about this one way. He peeks right past it, challenging that Omen, forcing him off of that angle. Tens is there to help him as well. They hear the Omen TP out. Knowing that that Omen gets away, he now closely takes this fight as well as he can, clearing off these 1v1 angles, picking up steel really quickly, slowly clearing every angle, and then they both use abilities. Phoenix pops his ult, Tens uses a smoke and dashes into it right onto the A bomb site. Notice how much control they take off of that pick and off of that push onto the A bomb site. They get an early pick here. And because of that, they know that there's probably only one other player here, that Omen that they saw earlier, and they probably hear him running away. That's good information. 2v1, they can push aggressively here using their utility and their abilities to gain as much control as possible. And with a little bit of Sova util, they know where enemies may or may not be on the bomb site. This was a really strong entry from them, allowing them again to take control and allow their teammates to push and help them win this bomb site and convert this round. The next entry I want to take a look at is another play from Sick, where he actually uses his ult again to gain a bunch of space for his team and luckily pick up a frag in the process. So as you can see, Sentinels gain some information towards Garage, pull that C player over towards Garage, and then they slowly make their way over towards the C bomb site. Sick picks up the orb to gain his ult, and he decides that he's just going to push with his ultimate onto the bomb site. Phoenix ultimate is very strong for entry fragging, but you have to make sure that you're communicating with your team. If your team knows what you're about to do, they can follow you in and support you and help defend your body. If they don't know what you're about to do, it could all be for nothing. So he pushes onto the bomb site here, and now at this point right here, if he ends his ultimate and does not get a single kill, this is still a successful entry, and that's because he got onto the bomb site, he gained a boatload of positioning, and his teammates are right behind him down long here, already starting to push the bomb site, ready to come in and take full control. It's going to be really hard for 100 Thieves to gain this bomb site back. They're going to have to go into full retake mode. But to top it all off, he picks up a really lucky kill with his molly onto Nitro, which really does solidify the entry. It makes it even that much better. And then, as you can see, as soon as he does that, his whole team is already on the bomb site and they've taken full control. And now the last example that I want to give for this video is an example of a slightly different entry, but one that is still extremely effective. And this is the way of entering silently. So you can play an entry in such a way that you don't necessarily need to loudly and abruptly push a bomb site to gain that positioning if you never encounter an enemy in the first place. So watch as this team pushes up here. They have a long control, they have a short control, and Sick, instead of using any of his abilities, silently enters onto this bomb site and takes control of it. But he is still the first one out, gaining that positioning for his team. He takes, it's hard to show in this VOD, but he does take all of the angles appropriately. He does clear the angles as he's pushing out on the bomb site, and he quickly realizes that nobody's actually playing on this bomb site, and he's gained all of this ground for his team for free. And if Cypher happened to be on the bomb site and he was able to walk all the way up and then die to the Cypher, his teammates are right behind him to trade him, and his entry was still super effective nonetheless. If you're attacking and you enter onto a bomb site and you gain a bunch of ground, you don't get a kill and you die, but your teammates are in a position and they're ready to go to take advantage of your entry and trade you immediately, and your team ends up in a 4v4, that's a successful entry for your team. That is one of the reasons why I noted earlier that you need to not care so much about the scoreboard if you're gonna be entry fragging for your team, because you could die. You could get 0 kills. But the fact that you got onto the bomb site, you gained all that positioning and helped your team win the bomb site is a successful entry. All that being said, you might be wondering, how does this apply to my ranked match? This seems like it's only going to work in a team environment, and yes, things like this are always going to be better in a team coordinated environment. But this doesn't mean you can't use it in your ranked matches. If you get put in a ranked match and you mesh well with your team, if you're able to communicate and they'll listen to you, if they're not trolling you, you could very well use this type of entry fragging, this method of entry fragging, to great success to win a ranked match. All it takes is 1 or 2 of the other players coordinating with you and pushing with you to take a bomb site and successfully win a round. You don't necessarily need everybody on your team to be on that bomb site. You can literally win with just 2 or 3 other players being there, ready to trade you, ready to take gunfights. Now, you might remember a video I made a little while back where I talked about the best agents for ranking up in solo queue or in ranked gameplay, and I mentioned that Jet and Raze were the best agents. You can see that video in the upper right hand corner of the screen right now if you want to go back and watch it. But this is the reason why those agents are so strong for ranking up. You set the pace for your team and for their team. You take the bomb sites and you allow your team to gain control. You also have the opportunity to pick up frags. If you're able to out frag everybody and pick up all the kills that you need to get, you can do that as these agents. Entry fragging successfully and doing it well does require a level of communication and organization from a team to be done properly, but that doesn't mean it can't be achieved in a ranked match. At the higher levels, Immortal, Diamond, Radiant, entry fragging happens quite often, and it happens very successfully. In almost every single one of my games, players entry frag like this. And now I don't have a whole lot of experience playing in much of the lower ranks, and I know a lot of the players can be quite toxic sometimes. But if you get into a match where your teammates are communicating well and you're able to pull off this type of method, add those players as friends and recreate what you did in that match in later matches. I hope you guys find this video useful and helpful. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this video and if you'd like to see other guides for other roles in the game. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and drop on by our Twitch streams at twitch.tv/BrianHudi. The link is in the description down below, where we play Valorant. We do VOD reviews for free, of course, and you can hang out and chat with me one-on-one if you'd like to. I'll see you guys in the next one.
One enemy remaining.
4 out of 5. Camera taken out.